been a long and incredible river monsters journey. 10 years ago, I had this list in my head of outsized and outlandish fish that I wanted to catch from around the world. I never dreamt that I would get to the end of that list. It's with very mixed feelings that I've decided to end my river monsters journey. For nearly a decade, River Monsters kept viewers hooked as Jeremy Wade traveled the globe chasing legends of giant fish and other rare creatures lurking in rivers and lakes. The show mixed adventure, science, and storytelling, making it one of Animal Planet's most successful series. But after 9 seasons, the cameras suddenly stopped rolling, leaving many to wonder why. Join us as we get into the real reason River Monsters ended. You went into that river in the hopes that that animal would attach itself to you. What I was trying to do was recreate what happened to a long-distance swimmer. He was swimming the length of Lake Champlain and a load of these things attached to him. He didn't know what they were, including one on his neck like that. So, it's just to get a sense of what that must be like. River Monsters debuted in April 2009 and quickly became a fan favorite, all thanks to the charming personality of its host, Jeremy Wade. On the show, Wade searched for giant and mysterious fish, most of them known only through local stories passed down in villages. Viewers watched him travel to places like the Amazon, Congo, Thailand, and Alaska, following rumors of monster fish and testing whether they posed real threats. In its very first season, River Monsters pulled in more than 1 million households per episode on Animal Planet. But not just that, it also became the network's most watched prime-time series in over 6 years. The show continued its amazing run for 9 seasons until the producers pulled the plug in May 2017. And that brings the question, what really happened? Simply put, Wade defeated nature. In an interview given after the series finale, Wade explained that the show had reached its natural conclusion. In his words, "Some shows can run forever, but our subject matter is finite." What this means is that from the very beginning, Wade had a target. Long before the cameras followed him across continents, he carried in his head a list of fish so rare and mysterious that they seemed almost impossible to track down. The format of the show was built around that quest. Each episode began with a local story, a rumor of a deadly fish lurking beneath the surface. Wade then set out to test those legends by traveling to the source, speaking with villagers, and finally casting his line. Basically, the show was always about proving whether a monster really existed. The cycle continued for a decade until Wade had crossed off every monster fish he had set out to find. And once his bucket list was complete and no new mysteries were left to uncover, he admitted that stretching the show beyond its natural end would hurt its integrity. He did not want to recycle stories just to keep the cameras rolling. The decision was not one-sided either. Producers understood that the entire appeal of the show was rooted in the mystery of whether these creatures existed and could be caught. Once Wade had proved that they did, the tension that had driven the show forward no longer existed. It was better to close the book on a high note than to try to recreate the magic with a weaker storyline. So, contrary to what many fans believe, River Monsters ended not because of scandals or low ratings, but because its story had been told in full. However, it seems some factions of fans were not aware of Wade's interview or the producer's decision. Not long after River Monsters wrapped up, a rumor began to circulate online that Wade had died from health complications while filming the final season. The story suggested that this was the reason producers suddenly canceled the show. For fans who had followed Wade across the globe as he wrestled mysterious giants from rivers and lakes, the rumor was both shocking and alarming. Many viewers who admired his courage and storytelling feared that the adventure had come to a tragic end. However, that wasn't true. Jeremy Wade did not die, and his health had nothing to do with the series ending. The false claim was traced back to a content creator on TikTok who spread the false story, and from there it circulated quickly across social media. No reputable media outlet ever confirmed the claim, and it remains an unfounded rumor. Speaking of story, there is a saying that goes, "No story exists without a source." Wade didn't just wake up one morning and decide to spend a decade of his life chasing fish. It started as a childhood passion for him. Growing up near a river sparked his love for water and the creatures beneath the surface. During that time, Wade was also a shy boy who found peace in nature, and fishing became his escape. By the time he was in his teens, he was already an enthusiastic angler. After his high school education, he proceeded to study zoology at Bristol University, later earning a teaching certificate. After graduation, he worked as a biology teacher in secondary schools. But teaching was never the end of the story for him. His real passion was adventure and fishing. In 1982, driven by stories he had read in magazines about giant fish in faraway waters, Wade bought a plane ticket to India. On that trip, he caught his first giant fish, a Himalayan sire, and that moment changed his life forever. Over the next decades, Wade balanced his job with expeditions. He traveled to Congo, the Amazon, and Thailand, often with little money and no guarantee of success. He wrote articles about his journeys for fishing magazines, slowly building a reputation as an explorer who could find and catch species most anglers only dreamed about. His big break came when television producers saw the potential in his work. Wade's combination of scientific knowledge, storytelling ability, and fearlessness in dangerous waters made him the perfect host for a new kind of fishing show. In 2009, River Monsters debuted on Animal Planet. It was unlike anything else on television at the time. Instead of focusing on record-breaking catches, the show mixed folklore, science, and suspense. Wade traveled to remote villages, listened to stories of killer fish, and then set out to uncover the truth. During his expeditions, some of his most memorable moments on the show became legendary. In the Congo River, he wrestled with the Goliath tigerfish, a ferocious predator with razor-sharp teeth that looked like they belonged to a shark. In Thailand, he caught a giant freshwater stingray that stretched nearly across the entire boat. In the Amazon, he tracked down electric eels, catfish that swallowed whole animals, and arapaima that grew longer than a man. Each episode carried a sense of danger, whether it was facing strong currents, avoiding crocodiles, or navigating jungles. What made Wade stand out was not just the fish he caught, but the respect he showed to the people and the environment around him. He treated local legends with utmost respect and often released his catches after studying and documenting them. Since the show ended, Wade didn't just sit back. Instead, he took on more challenges, each one proving that his curiosity was far from finished. The first of those challenges came in 2018 with a new show, Mighty Rivers. This series shifted his focus from mysterious predators to the rivers themselves. Wade traveled to some of the largest waterways on Earth, including the Nile, the Mississippi, and the Mekong. He showed how these rivers gave life to countless people and animals, but also how they were under threat from pollution, dams, and climate change. But Wade didn't stop there. In 2019, he shifted focus to darker mysteries involving disappearances, unexplained deaths, and strange sightings tied to rivers and lakes. A few years after that, he launched Mysteries of the Deep, this time focusing on oceans instead of rivers. He explored everything from shipwrecks to sea monsters, blending history, science, and myth. Through all of this, Wade never stopped speaking about conservation. In interviews, he stressed that protecting rivers and lakes is crucial, but often overlooked. He pointed out that many people ignore fresh bodies of water because they see little value in the fish that live there. For Wade, that attitude poses real danger to ecosystems and communities. His television work became not only about adventure, but also about reminding people of their responsibility to protect nature. Beyond television, Wade also built a name for himself as an author. His book, River Monsters, True Stories of the Ones That Didn't Get Away, gave readers a behind-the-scenes look at his most dangerous catches, close calls, and the mysteries that didn't always make it to air. In 2019, he followed it up with How to Think Like a Fish and Other Lessons from a Lifetime in Angling, blending memoir and practical advice rooted in decades of patience and persistence. This